Today I'm talking to Thomas Turner, the historian, about his new book, The Sports Shoe, A History from Field to Fashion. I first met Thomas a few years ago when I asked him to research and write up the history of Grenson.
If you're lucky, they will start you like with this sort of thing, like hip hop and Clyde Frazier and Run DMC and all that sort of stuff, right? The shoes themselves, they go back way, way further. And there is like a lot more to be said about the love for it. These are my favourite ones. Adidas Elina Stasis. Look at those. Ah, yes. If you look at sneaker culture now, and there's all these people going crazy for trainers, where had that product, where had those shoes come from, and how had they evolved into what they are today? I was interested in seeing how far you could trace back that. But then I was also interested in where had all that love and celebration and that feeling for trainers, where had that come from? So how had people come to think about them in the way that we think about them? You know what I mean? So that was what this was about. So it was almost taking as a kind of starting point what's going on today, like this big market for trainers, but it wasn't really trying to look at that and understand it. It was trying to see what is the history of it and how far back can you trace that. One of the things that the sports shoe is about comfort, and it's about being actually well designed for wearing. Yeah. So rather than being something that's, you know, being designed to look artificially slim or something, it's taking the foot as its starting point, and that's where it, that's where it starts, and that's how it's designed. And that is something that people are going to like wearing because it's comfortable. Yeah. And perhaps you see things like, the shoes behind you, which are kind of, shoes that have cues from more, these are more formal leathers, but they're comfortable and they've got just a white sole. I mean, is it a sneaker? Is it a shoe? I mean, it's a shoe. Yeah. It's not,
Yeah. Well, I think, from our point of view, what's really, really important is you look at the way sports shoes are designed, and there's incredible amounts of innovation going into them, and the people who are designing them are constantly looking for new ways to make them lighter, more comfortable, more hard-wearing, whatever, for that particular sport. Yeah. And traditional shoes, it's the opposite. They pride themselves on being made the traditional way, which has been made that way for 150 years. And so there's no innovation, really. Yeah. And I think it's really important to us. We still make very traditional shoes, but we also bring in some of the technology to make them more comfortable, lighter. We put wedge soles on shoes, and we do that kind of thing. I think it's really, really important that we learn from the sports industry
and embrace the techniques, or like bring the kind of what you've got. Like I was saying about Grenson, you've got this heritage, this history of craftsmanship. You've got this knowledge of traditional shoes. You've got this understanding of the materials that go into them. Bring some of that and take. Like you see these manufacturers or like companies now taking some of that, but using perhaps some of the aspects that are associated more with sports shoes, and you bring them together, and you get shoes like this. Which, I mean, I hope it's not, it's not news, but no one's gonna be wearing these for, down the gym. I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it? No. But they've got, you've got the lovely leathers, the kind of the lovely craftsmanship in the way it's made. Yeah. But you've got things like the sole and
it's a hybrid.
Really. Yeah, it's a hybrid thing of it, the cushioning. So you've got the best of both things going on there.
As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the podcast. If you're enjoying it, hit the subscribe button and leave a review. Or if you have something to say, email us at thegrensonpodcast@grenson.co.uk.